real quick vortex. I know that I say the same thing a lot, but so does everybody else. So, fuck it, right? I heard back in the 12-step program, you guys might have heard of it, it's called Alcoholics Anonymous. It's the original 12-step program established in 1939, okay? I don't go anymore because I hate cults, but I'll say that it's really important to retain positive information. And there was a lot of positive information that I retained in there. And one of the things that they said very often was that anything that you focus on gets bigger, which makes perfect sense because, you know, if you keep staring at something, it's going to, sorry, I just realized that I stink. Yeah, you focus on something, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it's going to be so magnanimous that you're not going to be able to think about anything else. And that is why the news media is so powerful. It's why they're so good at what they do. It's because the majority of people that you meet, the sheep, the dunderheads, the plebes, they don't know any better, okay? It's not their fault that they're this stupid. They just don't know any better. So, you know, they focus on these things, and because they focus on them, they obsess. Really saw that with this virus, okay? And it's so easy for the elite. It's so easy for them because all they have to do through the power of suggestion is just give people a little bit of an idea, and then they just run with it, you know. But they're not doing that, though. They're constantly talking about things, and because they're constantly talking about these things, it's just like that's all that people hear about. And I think that maybe because of that, because of this dramatic emphasis that they've put on, you know, total bullshit, you know, people have woken up to that, and they go, you know, I can't watch the news anymore. I had to delete these apps. I can't go on social networks anymore because, you know, it just was fucking with my head, and, you know, it's making people more aware of themselves. So it's actually been a positive thing for, you know, the small faction of society that, you know, maybe the numbers are different. Maybe I'm just being cynical, but it's been really good for those of us that had self-awareness, that wanted to have more, okay? But everybody else, you know, they can burn in hell. And I know that shouldn't be my sentiment, but it really is, because they're a huge part of the problem. Got my holy bread. Isn't that awesome? Let's see, okay, yeah, 2 minutes late, just like I said. Okay, we can stay out here a few more minutes and chat. But anyway, so when you focus on a lot of this stuff that's going on in the news, it's like they win because now you're talking about it, okay? So it's essentially like you're working for the media without getting paid, okay? So anytime that people repeat something that Rachel Maddow said, or anytime that people repeat something that Greg Gutfield says, it's like you're giving them, like, I don't know what side you're on, it doesn't fucking matter, they're all the same. But anytime that you keep talking about these things, it's like you're providing free publicity for a bunch of bullshit. And that's exactly what they want. So, you know, you see people on CNN bitching about people on Fox, and then you see people on Fox bitching about people on CNN, and it's just the same bullshit, and all these people act the same. You know, yes, people on the left are more extreme, but that's because the philosophy itself is more extreme, and people on the right are, you know, conservative, supposedly. Supposedly. I don't think that they're conserving their health, for sure, because if they're doing all the same stuff that these lefties are doing, then how are they any different? if you're going online and constantly yakking about whatever you think is happening in the world, whatever you think is happening in your country, I realize that there is, you know, some importance to that, knowing what's going on and feeling like you're putting your best foot forward and trying to, you know, do the right thing. But another aspect of that is that you're really letting them win because you're giving them control over you. Whenever you constantly talk about what they're trying to do, then it's like now they have yet another person that's talking about what they're doing, you know, as if there aren't enough people that are already doing that, you know. So it's like, I'm just trying to provide like a fresher perspective. You know, here's another way that I can talk about things that's better. I hope it's better. You know, tell me if it's not. Tell me if I'm just a piece of shit. And, you know, I might be just another piece of shit that's trying to say things in a way that will be more captivating than, you know, the typical run-of-the-mill, you know, here I am sitting in front of my microphone and I'm a conservative, that's why I have all these books behind me. You know, it's just so typical. People are so typical and boring. But anyway, that's why my favorite political commentator like always does the same fucking thing. He's always wearing a suit. He's always like, well, not always, but most of the time he's wearing a suit. He's really well dressed. He's just in front of a green screen and he has the same opening every time. And it's what you see is what you get. He's amazing. But yeah, like, keep it simple. If you keep it simple, then it's like you don't have to have all these little tricks and antics and, you know, it's like I'm a very complicated person, so my way of keeping it simple is to drive around in my car and play piano. But, you know, I don't have some high-tech camera or, you know, some really good light action. I mean, you guys have seen my little flip phone light. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? You guys, this has a flashlight on it. Isn't that incredible? So high-tech. It's so high-tech. But, yeah, anyway, just think about, try to refocus, like whatever like you're thinking about, just take all the energy and redirect it to something creative. What can I do instead of the same thing that I've been doing? What can I do? Like, okay, I don't know, buy a puzzle and put the puzzle together, or I don't know, make something, like make paper mache, you know, shit like that. Like there's so much potential, there's so much opportunity, and yet all that people do is this. Oh God. Sometimes I really get mad at God for like putting me in this world right now, but at the same time, he's like, no, you're going to be the tour guide. You're going to be the modern day version of Noah. That is what you're going to do, bitch. You have to stay on this earth and you have to teach them how to be people again. You have to teach them how to trust their humanity and their instincts that I gave them, that they are throwing away, also that they can pretend that they're more satisfied. We can pretend that this is progress. We can pretend that we're happier when more and more people every single day are committing suicide.